love it.
Get out the 7 heavenward. Best swing of the day.
Hit a fairway. Woo! Great putt.
You're just giving the viewers what they need to see, right?
Exactly.
Yep, you're going to show.
Get in there.
Lovely shot.
One good shot.
Yes.
And Carol's up there too. Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video. If you haven't seen part 1 already, make sure you tune in. But this is part 2. We're at Wentworth on the West Course and you're watching this during the BMW PGA Championship. And I've got an incredible guest to show us around. Let's flip the camera and we're here on the par 3. How are we doing, Stevie B?
Yeah, all good. They're obviously protecting the tee, so we won't play this one. But another great par 3. The par 3s here, they don't actually play that tough. Normally you can actually get some pretty good chances. So this is, like you said earlier, this green slopes massively left to right. So any pin that's sort of like just at the bottom of that slope, you've actually got a good chance. So I remember some really great shots like over the years here. I think Beef made a hole-in-one here, and he gave it a big like chest pump to some fans afterwards, which is like classic Beef. So you know you can hit some pretty good shots. There's some tough pins which can make it a bit more difficult. If they put it back left, it's kind of tough to get close to. But I think it's one of those holes where guys will just be, it's a good 185 yards, 190 yards most of the time. So guys will be just kind of getting it middle of the green and trying to give themselves a putt for birdie.
I almost don't know which side is worse to miss, but I reckon we should go down,
left,
down the green.
Yeah, well, because we know that the green slopes so hard left to right. If you get it going left off the tee, that tends to be, it bounces away.
Let's have a look at it then.
Yeah, let's go.
So, although it is beautiful, it's not a nice place to miss it short right. However, typically you will be on an uphill slope playing from this angle what feels like a back to front shot. So it will generally stick, and like Stephen said on the tee, it's this left miss that we don't want to have or leave ourselves. We haven't hit a shot on the tee box, but we're pretty much just throwing it in here. The rough is looking lush and it's gonna be quick, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. This is sort of the much harder miss. I would say a great thing about this hole is that it's always busy with people. This is where the beer tents and everything are.
And the hot dogs.
And the hot dogs, exactly. So normally the people are quite tight to this green, so if you do pull it, this is normally trampled down, and so therefore the ball will run if it misses the people quite a lot. But say it does just stop here, the difficulty is that the greens are firm, fast. And so if you don't get a great lie and the pin is tucked to this side, stopping it from rolling away is tough. I mean, today it's a bit softer and stuff, so we should have a pretty good chance. But even from here, I'm still just trying to land it just on the green. Yeah, nice. So like that's just short, and it will still release all the way down there.
Get in. Oh,
so you can imagine that when it's firm and fast, which it will be for the tournament, or firmer than this, you've got to play that with a lot of loft, and that was off a good lie, really.
I was going to say, your technique looked effortless there. You didn't even add too much loft, it just kind of looked back and through, it just popped up.
I mean, because we've gone just on a bit on the upslope, it's almost built in, but you could end up on a downslope, which makes it a lot tougher.
I'm just going to try it. My chipping's been world class so far today, so.
I mean, that's not that bad, but just watch it run. It just runs a little bit,
It's just rapid, isn't it? And also, we've been quite generous to ourselves here. It's a little bit steeper here. You've got a bit of a mound, kind of mid-left of the green, which would be a horrible up and down. So it could be worse. It's a great little par 3. So this is the 11th hole, and I think this is a new feature. So
it seems so. When I've been here, when I've played the last 5-6 years, there hasn't been a grandstand around this tee, but it seems like they're building a bit of an amphitheatre here. So yeah, it'll be quite cool for the tournament.
It's definitely worth noting there's an incredible amount of hard work that goes before a tournament week to make things like this happen and to create the atmosphere and the event that you want it to be. So, hats off to all the builders that work very hard.
It's a good place to put it because this is, like I just said about the last hole, it's quite a popular place on the course for people to hang out. So I'm sure this will be pretty full.
And what's this hole like? What does it demand?
Yeah, okay, so this is actually one of my favourite driving holes on the course. It just looks really nice down there.
Not many faders would say that, would they?
No, exactly. Yeah, I don't know if I pull it off that well, but it just on the eye, I think it looks quite nice. It's not the longest hole; it's only 410 yards. So, like a few of the holes earlier on, where I was saying that if you get it in play, you're probably going to have a wedge in, so it's a good chance. But there's a bit of getting the drive in play, which isn't is easiest. So you just got to miss the bunkers. They're pretty deep actually.
Yeah.
And actually, we'll show you down there, but a lot of the rough on and around the bunkers is really thick. So you'll see guys here not necessarily hit driver. You'll see a lot of drivers, especially ones that like to turn the ball. But if not, if you are a big fader, you know, maybe a 3-wood might be better off, just to give you that little bit more room to play with. But we'll go with driver. It doesn't matter right now.
I'll try and make the road.
Yeah, exactly.
That was bullet straight. Oh, love that.
Yeah, that one will work.
That is so good. There's not really much I can do to follow. To the point, I don't know if there's much point I play.
This should suit your little draw quite nicely.
Okay. Oh, I'm just leaking everything to the right.
High right. We'll go for mine.
Yeah, we'll go for yours. It's also probably worth highlighting that this is the 8th tee box again, so there's a bit of a junction crossover. But it doesn't really cause any delays or anything like that. I quite like it. It makes it an intimate little
absolutely. Yeah,
space,
it's always a busy part of the course. This feels good.
Right, let's go to the middle of the fairway. You think I'm in the rough on the other hole?
Yeah.
Obviously, once again, you've hit the perfect tee shot. But
we're good
some of the longer players will take on this second left bunker. What could happen then? Yeah,
so it's kind of suits a draw, and I think guys will kind of try and go over this bunker and think that you're going to be on the fairway. It's 295, but then that's including the downhill to carry the bunker. But as you can see, there's a good 20 yards extra to go over that to get to the fairway.
I mean,
and this rough here is probably the thickest rough on the course.
That's lost ball.
It could be lost ball.
Yeah.
And if you go over the bunker up here, you've got heather and things like that, which, as you could see at the Women's Open last week, that can be just as brutal as anything. So I think it can almost tempt you into trying to, gain a bit extra by going over the bunker and getting right up there, but you can get into a bit of difficulty just as easily. So just watch out for that if guys do get sucked in, they'll probably want it to go in the bunker rather than just miss it.
Of course, the more of the corner you take on, the shorter your next shot.
Exactly.
But otherwise, you can just play out here to A1 and have a lovely second shot down the line of the hole.
Yeah. And this is quite a big green, actually. Again, it's got a ridge running through it, which will slope from right to left. So with this pin being here in the middle left of the green, you can aim it just a little bit right and try and use some spin and that slope.
Love it.
Yes, I mean that's going to land, so
it's perfect.
A bit right of it, and
that's a birdie chance.
Hopefully get the slope, we'll bring that a little bit left.
That's just buttercup nice.
This is one of those holes that if you just hit a solid tee shot and hit the fairway, it's a chance.
Yeah.
You've got a wedge in. The green isn't that severe.
Plays a couple of yards uphill.
Yeah.
Safety.
Yeah, that's just safe, middle of the green.
So there's nothing really major to highlight with the greens here, apart from it does slope a little bit back to front, maybe a little bit right to left. And you do have 2 greenside bunkers, but I think that one on the left definitely gets a little bit more action compared to the one on the right. And I think we should probably move on. I've given ourselves the putts pretty much. Here's your ball.
Cheers, mate.
Over to the par 5?
Yeah.
Let's do it. So far, it's been an amazing day. I think to even be able to play the golf course, weeks in advance of the BMW PGA Championship, obviously you're watching it on the week of it, it's just absolutely amazing. The golf course is in immaculate condition. I was a junior scholar here when I was a kid. I was very fortunate to be that. So I've seen the course mature as the year's gone on, and there's definitely some changes that I've recognised. But it's just a beautiful venue. I can't wait to work here. I'm really looking forward to it. Having an amazing day.
The last 7, there's 3 par 5s. That's one of the reasons why the back 9 scoring is so much better than the front 9. It looks to me, I'm not exactly sure, but I think they've added maybe 5 or 10 yards onto this tee.
Do you think?
Yeah. It used to be one long tee, now they've got 2 here, so I think they might have just added a little bit. But so this is a really good chance. Par 5. they've made a lot of changes over the years here. The ditch used to come almost all the way across, and they've taken that away on the left now. Yeah. It's still there on the right though.
Okay. It's not there at all on the left?
No, it's not. They've really taken it back.
Great.
Still there on the right, and it doesn't come into play that much. You'll see guys trying to just turn it off those bunkers. If I was going to say turn it off the bunkers, but I remember last year seeing Hovland starting it left here and cutting it back. So they normally just stick to what they do. But a fairway that if you hit, you've got a really good chance of eagle, because you're not going to have a massive club in. So this is a hole that you're definitely, it's a green light. You're thinking this is a really good chance here.
I think it's quite unique as well. You've got those 2 trees in front of you. Well, that's maybe about 150 yards ahead of us, and kind of gives it a goalpost vibe.
I remember as a junior being up here when Tiger played in the match play.
Yeah.
And I remember him off this front tee. He was hitting 2 irons underneath those trees.
No way.
Yeah.
That is epic.
We were, as junior members, you can imagine, we were absolutely loving it.
Flushed it. Absolutely flushed it. Bit different to the London club. It's gone so far there.
You obviously acted that out well, because you thought if she's back. So I've hit a pretty good drive here. We've got 230 to the hole, about 215 to the front. It's a bit into the wind today, so that's why it hasn't gone miles up here. Guys will point in the tournament, if it's not into the wind, they'll be a bit further up, and so you could have almost like a mid-iron in here, the longer hitters. The green sort of sits up a little bit. It's a good par 5 green, and actually a few years ago they played this as a par 4.
Did they?
Yeah, when it first changed they played it as a par 4.
That must have been brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal because the green was even more
it's funny, when it's made a par 4 you seem to make a 5 and drop a shot. When it's a par 5 you seem to, I don't know if it's a feel thing.
It's just the psychology of things. It's crazy. So yeah, it's just like a good hole now. The bunkers aren't too bad. You can get up and down from those. The best pin is back right because it all slopes into it, much like the 5th earlier on. And the middle left pin's probably the hardest. So today it's sort of just in the middle of the green.
You got driving iron?
I've got a 3 iron.
Love it.
It's not a massive target, so.
Oh, pured it. Mamma mia.
It's come off a little low.
Don't be that guy and be picky.
No, it did, and that's why it's just short.
Don't be that guy.
It's just short.
Now, it's a great shot. 3 wood for me, and still not sure if I can make it. So, give it a good old whack. Oh, would just love to hit one good shot.
That was just a little layup.
That's a little layup. There is a ditch. We forgot to mention the ditch.
Yeah, you've just shown there. Layup just short of the ditch. And you've just got a nice pitch up the green.
Love that. Just thinking it all through. So obviously the perfect layup.
Intentional layup there from you.
Well played. I mean, that's perfectly judged.
It's something to mention though, that if you do miss the fairway or you're quite far back, the ditch here is something to think about. Because obviously if it wasn't there, guys would just try and run it up as close as they can, whereas now you can't because of the ditch.
Well, why else do you think I've hit it here?
You're just giving the viewers what they need to see, right?
Exactly. I'm going to take numbers out of my head and just go pure feel now. It's one of those things, on every single hole I've tried something different, and this is another one of those.
Yep, you're going to show.
Get in there.
Lovely shot.
One good shot, and Cal's up there too.
Things to look out for here are that the back right pin is one that everything rolls into, so that'll be a good chance. And that left, it runs away down towards that out of bounds. So if you do get a shot turning into the green and it lands on that slope and it's firm, I've seen it go out of bounds there before. So when I say I've seen it, I mean I've done it.
A bit like the par 3 6, you've got your danger and safe zone. So that kind of long left is a no-go zone.
Exactly, yeah. Really, you'll see a lot of guys short right here because these trees back here kind of block you out a little bit as well.
I'm going to say 3 feet, inside 3 feet. I'm calling it.
Bit short. Short. Disappointing.
3 feet.
Let everyone down there.
I'm not angry. You need to seriously work on your throws.
I know, man.
Shall I do one? I'll do it backwards.
Uncle Ken.
There's the release that you
yeah,
want.
exactly. Yeah. So if you're hitting that's good. Yeah.
That was good.
Showing off. If you're hitting like a 4 or 3 iron into this green and you can land it here, it will release just like you showed there.
Yeah. Shame both cameras are pointing this way, but
Get
oh
back
well.
into the,
You just got to take our word for this, all right? Yeah, no, it's a great par 5.
Yeah, and it's just a hole that, you know, it's something that the course gives you. It'll play near enough the easiest hole. Yeah. Just because, you know, you've got a chance of making a good birdie here. So, and you need that with what's to come.
I was going to say the next hole as a fader might be an interesting one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is sort of like you get the chance here, and then you've got a tough 3 holes coming up. So you'd like to pick up a shot just getting into them, really.
Well, this is a bit of a tricky one because the fairway looks massive, but actually it plays half its size.
Absolutely, yeah. You've nailed it there. The left-hand side of this fairway completely blocked out. You have to hit basically a hook around the corner, don't you? Which isn't always the easiest shot to pull off. Off this back tee, it's just a bit of a brute, really. 13. You've been given a nice one on 12, and then you turn up to 470 uphill for this hole. So normally plays into the wind as well. And I'm sure you've probably heard it a lot on the TV when the tournament's on, but the swirling winds around here, or around these holes in particular, catch people out.
Amen corner equivalent?
Yeah, exactly. The Wentworth Amen corner. But you'll hear guys on the commentary, and when you're on course this year doing it, I'm sure you'll...
I say it on every hole.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's just something that's like known for Wentworth, really. So 270 to get over the bunk on the right, that's a big one that you need to avoid on this hole.
You're playing just left of it, and sometimes they run through, don't they, into the rough?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. If you do carry over just even left of that bunker, it does just sneak down into the rough, and then you've got a tough shot. So
tough driving hole.
It is a tough
really
driving
hard.
hole. Yeah, like this hole, and then leading up to 14, 15, you've really got to pull off some good shots. Otherwise,
well, time to pull off some good shots.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
It's a lovely bunker down the right. Oh, yes.
Best swing of the day.
Getting this on. Hit a fairway. Woo!
Obviously, I've leaked it right, and this is quite, because of the fact you can't go left, this is kind of like a miss for guys, you know? You see a lot of guys in the right rough.
We're going to play it from here.
Yeah, I think so, just to show how difficult it is. I mean, you still got quite far in. 195
it's playing. Showing.
So 195 from here, and you can see the rough is pretty thick.
I mean, I'm going to tell you guys right now that I'm not even going to play from here. I'm going to let you demonstrate.
I mean, this will actually be something that I might even get out the 7 Heavenwood.
7wood?
Yeah, which is quite a popular club now for this reason. Yeah, because
off a down slope.
Well, yeah, I think that's the only, unless I was just going to go, okay, well, I'm just going to lay up.
Yeah.
The theory behind this is, which doesn't always, theory doesn't always work.
Love the theory, chat.
Is that it will come out and run. So all it's got to do is land 20, 30 yards short of the green, and it will go.
Got it.
Now there is a ditch there, so it is kind of risky. But in the tournament, you know, I've got 195 yards, ball way below my feet in thick rough, thick wet rough. It would probably be where you go, okay, I'll probably hit maybe like a 6 or a 7 iron and just play it out to the fairway that's just short of the green and try and get up and down.
Go on.
I don't know if that got over the...
Me neither. I feel as if that was 20 yards further right. That would have been excellent.
That was exactly what I'd expect in terms of flight.
Just
It'll
dead
come out crap, but run
how long
a lot.
that is, that divot.
Exactly. So that was just to show that although you can bail out a bit to the right there, it's not a great spot with this rough being as thick as it is.
I'm personally not going to hit a shot, but let's just go up there and have a look how that's ended up, shall we?
Yeah. It just shows you though that these long par 4s, these tough holes, if you're down the middle, you've got chances still. But if you just get a bit out of position, I mean, it wasn't that far right, really. Yeah. But it just...
And you were saying that a lot of guys actually have the 7wood in the bag simply for that reason,
right?
For
that reason, yeah. Or that, and for just stopping it on par 5s, just, you know, a bit more control.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh.
I mean, I had a disgusting bounce, but...
It did, didn't it?
It was nice through the ball. Okay. Notice you're quite vertical at setup.
Yeah,
more so?
Yeah, so my chipping, I try to take out that lever of the wrist as much as I can.
Okay.
Just because it's another one to try and time.
So
Sort of like a Thomas Bjorn or...
I need all the help I can get, so I'm going to try and do the same.
Yeah.
Okay. It works. Kick right. Go.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yes.
My theory is, without boring you too much, is if you got your hands low,
Yeah.
if you raise them at all, the club goes closer to the ground, which is why people duff it. Because if you have it low and then you come up, you'll either come up with your body as well and top it, or your body will stay the same and you'll hit the ground. So if you're already maxed out, you can't go any lower. You can't go any lower into the ground, and then you just turn your body.
Nice. We had Pete Cowan on the channel. If you guys haven't watched it yet, it's at the Open BTS video, and that's who we're talking about, Pete Cowan. And he actually teaches quite a vertical setup because it almost allows the pendulum act.
Absolutely.
So rather than driving your hands forwards,
yeah,
you swing it back, gravity swings it through. Theoretically.
That's exactly what I would say, is because this is all maxed out, I'm close to the ball, this is maxed. All I then need to do is almost have like a long putting stroke.
Yeah.
It would just be like a pendulum then, so I mean...
Well, that's exclusive access to some tour tips there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, let's hold that putt. I think I beat you for once. Nearest a bit.
It does look that way.
It's the first time. First time for everything.
Because I'm putting from below the hole, whereas you're putting from above it, and although you're much closer...
I prefer your putt, yeah. Had the line.
You can see how slow that was, that I left it a bit short of pace.
I mean, this is only a 6 foot putt, but I feel as though I need to aim this at least a cup and a half, if not 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
To the left, because this is going to be absolutely rapid.
Yeah. Really good putt, yeah. Go right up and down, that.
Woo! All right, that is a real toughie of a hole. But the next one's maybe... I wouldn't say it's one of the tougher holes, but you can make it quite challenging for yourself, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's check it out. Next up is the par 3. So par 3 14th, as you can imagine, there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes, and they're currently still building the grandstand on the left. So excuse the noise.
Yeah.
However, we're still going to talk through the hole.
Yeah, so this is a great par 3. I don't actually normally like uphill par 3 so much, but this one's an exception. It seems to play quite nicely. We were just saying, weren't we? It's a great hole, can get a bit rowdy. There's so many people around here. Normally they have big grandstand behind when it's built. But it's not an easy hole. It's with the uphill included, it's 185 yards to the middle of the green. Right. So you're probably looking about 6 iron, 7 iron for the guys. There is quite big sections of the green which they tend to use the pins, back right, back left, front right, front left. So you kind of know where the pins are going to be.
Yeah.
And if you hit that section, then they can actually roll in and get quite close to the hole.
160 playing 170 I got from here. That's all over cow. No. God, what a shot.
So that's hit the right section. So that
what a
should...
shot. Beauty.
The distance is right. It should be
great ball. Oh, she's hit one.
Absolutely flushed
She's hit one.
That's got to be long, isn't it?
Watch out, Cal.
Nice shot.
Tell you what, that was close, wasn't it?
She's back.
Every now and then, once in a blue moon.
Was it blind squirrels? That's the...
Yeah, blind squirrel finds an acorn or a nut sometimes. I'm not really the one for phrases, am I? You guys would know. So it's a great par 3. I mean, ideally you want to be below the flag to give yourself an uphill chance. I mean,
certainly the back.
I certainly don't have the luxury of choosing where I end up. So I've ended up going long here on a slight downhill slope, but this green is just so back to front. This is going to be absolutely rapid. So I've clubbed up to 50 rather than using a 58. So a little less loft, and I'm going to have quite high risk and just basically use a bit of a putting action and almost read it like a putt. It's going to be downhill left to right. Let's see. Look at that go.
Watch how fast that is.
Sit. I mean,
it's just so fast from above the hole.
Look at that, it's rapid. Yeah, no, it's tough when you go long here.
Yeah. What I was saying on the tee about being aggressive to the sections is what happens is the pins are back right and front right. You've actually got a bit of room to the right of the green, which you can't really tell from the back of the tee, and will actually bounce it in. And normally with a back right pin, the safe thing to do would be play sort of like middle left and take the putt. But what happens on this green, because of the sections,
Yeah.
you hit it only maybe 5 yards left of it, which isn't that bad a shot, and it gets the wrong side of the slope,
Yeah.
and it will go left instead of right.
It's a bit of a spine right in the middle, so
Exactly.
it creates almost 3-4 sections
Exactly.
on the screen.
And then, so you're the wrong side of the spine, and then if you actually...
That would be a tough up and down.
Yeah, exactly. So even if you're on the green and the pin's over there and you miss the spine, so it comes left instead of right.
Yeah.
I see this all the time. The ball ends up here and you've just got no putt.
What do you do?
Well, you have to putt
I'm
it
going
up
to stand here. Go on,
Yeah.
do your best. I'm stitching you up for failure.
Yeah, no, but, that's where the pin would be. So
Let's just clarify.
what you have to do is almost putt it up into the fringe, but then it still just goes way too far because of the slope.
Great putt. Yeah.
So
That's touch.
you think you're being safe by playing to the middle of the green and you leave yourself an impossible putt.
Yeah.
So
It's cheeky that. This is a toughie because there's no
Yeah.
real bailout on 15, is there?
Absolutely. It's not a massive target down there. You don't really have a choice unless it's really downwind. That It's going to be driver. It's 490. It's a long hole. The green isn't the easiest green to deal with either. So you don't want a really, really long iron in. So it's one of the toughest par fours out here, probably along with the ones we played on the front nine. So you're kind of thinking there's always a nice aim point here, which is there's a tree which sort of is between the 15th green and the 16th tee. Can you see that trunk there?
Where the man is on his own.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly right,
standalone
yeah.
tree trunk. Yeah,
That's
I
sort
like
of middle
that.
of the fairway. The ditch does come in sneakily on the right, so
It's on the angle, isn't it?
yeah. So you kind of want to be maybe just left of that tree, fading onto it would be the ideal shot.
Okay.
Right here is a no-go.
Blocked out.
Those right trees, you're completely blocked out. There's been some great shots over the years. I think Faldo hit an unbelievable shot from over there one year.
Yeah.
But left, even if you're in the trees, and you still kind of can punch it out low and get up by the green. So you see guys go more left than right. So it's one of those holes where you just got to just strap up and hit a good drive. There isn't really much option.
That's pure. I mean, that
Yeah, that one will
is
work.
landed on the trunk.
Yeah, that will work.
That was spot on. That was money. Great shot. So now I know what the line is.
Yeah.
So really, I've got no excuses. Right.
It's just like a full encyclopedia of
Yeah, that's
Inci-isms.
right. It's good. It's a fairway.
That's good.
I mean, I've seen loads of players bailing it out to the right, whether you're in the trees and you're hacking it out sideways, but you said that you've seen some magicians in these woods.
Yeah, obviously you don't want to be over here. Some guys will be just right of the ditch, and if you get a swing, there is the opportunity to hit like a low fade with maybe like a 4-iron or something.
If
But
the wind's off the left as well, might tempt you a bit more,
Yeah,
but that's
absolutely.
the only thing.
Most guys though, if you're over there, you're happy to find it and just chip it out. So
Yeah.
it's a no-go really. The ditch isn't ideal. And the rough on the left is a much better option if you are going to miss it. But
Too far left, you've
the out
got
of bounds isn't far away.
very expensive houses.
And that road just manages to bounce your ball into the small houses' gardens. So
Okay. Well, we've picked your ball.
it's a tough tee shot. And
How?
I've hit a great one there, 179 playing 175,
Okay.
and that's to a front pin. So even off a really good drive,
Yeah.
and it's a bit downwind actually, you still got 7-iron to the front pin.
Oh, I just love it.
That,
That's just so pure.
that's pretty much what we were trying to do.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfection. I mean,
That-
they say perfection doesn't exist in golf, but that was just majestic. Just call the shot. Draw more. Come on.
You've actually struck that lovely.
Straight into the bunker.
It's always nicer, isn't it, when you're hitting down into the green?
So. You see a bit more of it, don't you?
Visually nice.
I always feel like when you're playing up to an elevated green, it's a bit more of the unknown because you can't really see how it's
exactly
ended
right,
up.
yeah.
And
You're waiting for the crowd to tell you
Yeah.
it's any good. And if they
when you
don't,
hear the
yeah, the worst noise.
So I'm going to try and splash it out this right bunker, and as Stevie said, everything does slope right to left, so this is going to be quite quick. Look at that for a lie.
I know, you've got the upslope as
That
well.
is
So
an absolute peach. Try and get this landing as softly as I can. Yes.
Great shot.
Yeah, it's really
Very
kick on.
nicely played.
Take that, yeah. Just gonna make the casual up and down. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you. Have a great day. See you later. Thanks.
Where the pin is really important. They have a pin here, which I would say is probably the hardest pin on the green, because if you go right, it's a big runoff down there, and it's a tough up and down when
It's
it
like
gets
up
firm
and back
fast.
down, isn't it?
Yeah. Whereas when the pin's on the left, you've always kind of got some room and you can work it in.
Yeah.
So when the pin's on Sunday, back left, if the guys pull it off and they kind of just get it turning a little bit in there with like a 7 or a 6 iron maybe,
Yeah.
they can really get it in there close and have a good chance of
It almost
through.
makes it look like an easy hole, but there's
Yeah.
so much that can go wrong.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say this being one of the hardest holes on the course, you'll just see a lot of guys, if they do hit the fairway, get it into the middle of the green and go from there. It's a hole that if you take 4 fours, you're happy with that.
You make it sound very easy.
Well, it's not exactly. That's why you take them.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Final push.
Yeah. So after those 3 tough holes,
You can't really breathe still.
no, I mean, I would say that now when you get onto this tee, you are thinking, I've got a couple of chances here, especially after the tough ones you've just done. So this is a positional tee shot. I feel like most guys with an iron.
I've never seen a driver here ever.
Yeah, guys don't tend to do it. It's pretty tight up there, and you have to really turn it right to left. And so guys will just hit something to get it in the fairway and then go from there. They've changed this hole a lot.
I was going to say, kind of the angle of the green makes it quite tough depending on where the pin is, because if you do play it out to the right, it turns out to be quite a shallow green, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially if they tuck the pins. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This hole is one of the ones that's changed the most over the time from when Ernie changed it originally. I mean, this green was so much higher with massive bunkers, and there still is quite deep bunkers, but the bunkers on the fairway up the left have been taken out, which can catch people out because you can run down towards those trees and be blocked out. So the ideal shot is just an iron, 2 iron, maybe 3 iron at those bunkers up the right.
Yeah.
And
Second
then
one.
take your shot from there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's do it then. Perfect shape. Is that far up enough, you reckon?
That will do what I said about it'll go a little left maybe.
Yeah, that would be really interesting to see.
So
Because to memory, that rough on the left was longer and thicker.
yeah, so that actually dug in because it's quite soft, but hopefully it's a bit firmer in the tournament, and that exact shot would just land and go down into the rough.
Yeah. I feel it was like, from an execution standpoint, it was really nice. You know, can't really fault it, but you could get blocked out.
Yeah.
So it's a good little, actually, good view
Yeah,
of
it'll
it.
be good to see how close that one is.
She's back.
That's perfect.
Oh,
Good
feels
swing there.
great to hit it out the middle. Every now and then, once in a blue moon, happy days.
That's A1.
Play from mine, yeah?
Yeah.
Just picked up my ball. We actually thought it'd be a bit more fun to play from Stevie's ball, but
Got 136, but what you can see here is I'm still on the fairway,
yeah,
but actually just hitting a normal wedge would probably go straight into those trees.
yeah.
And so you can imagine if it was a little bit further left my tee shot and you're down in this rough, all of a sudden you've really got to, manoeuvre the ball low and drawy, which isn't
what you
always
gonna
to
do?
I think it's because we're still in the fairway, we're still okay. I mean, you
Can you try and shape this?
you could either draw it or just play like a bit more of a 3/4-y sort of shot, which is what I'll
Chippy
go
shot.
for.
Oh yeah. Had the height.
Sit. Okay,
Good
so
safety.
yeah, but what I would say is because I've gone too far left there, I could leave a tricky little chip.
Bunker. So.
But because the pin's on the right, I've got a lot more green to work with.
How far did you say it was?
136.
136. So that's normally a 9-9 for me. I've actually clubbed up to a 7 simply just to take that loft off and keep this lower. I'm just going to feel as though I'm keeping that club face nice and square.
Just a 3/4 shot, sort of.
A little kind of pitchy action. Oh, I like it.
Wow, that looks good.
I hope that's
perfect.
good.
Lovely.
I'll take that.
She's happy.
Hate to say it, Stevie B. Beat you to it this time round. But
So
what's a tough pin here?
the pins on the left are, I would say, tougher pins. Overall, this green, pretty flat at the front. but towards the back is more left to right. So what I've found over the years is to the left pins, you don't want to be missing it left, especially that bunker to the front left pin.
Yeah.
Because the right miss isn't great, but at least you're then chipping up into a bit of a slope, whereas it's normally coming away from the other side.
This is all I've eaten all day. Probably explains my poor golf. Penultimate hole.
Yep, penultimate hole. Great hole this. This for me is a bit like the fourth earlier, where we were talking about the real back tee compared to when they move the tee up. It's a big difference. So they tend to do a bit of that here. They have done over the years where they move it up a couple of days and back a couple of days. So back from here it's 610 yards. So no one's getting up really. A couple might if you get it perfect, but it plays quite soft in September normally. So normally from back here it's probably a drive on the right hand side, a layup, or get it close to the green and then pitch on.
I think the biggest challenge here, because it's a dogleg right to left, is the fact that the fairway cambers left to right.
Yeah, exactly right.
Out of bounds on the left-hand side, so everyone ends up in that right corner.
Exactly. It's the only hole with no bunkers on the entire course, so you haven't got those to worry about at least. But off the tee, out of bounds is very much in play. You see some guys that, because it's a right to left dogleg, like you said, you kind of feel like you want to draw it, and so if you overdo it, you're out of bounds. But like you said, the bail out to the right is kind of what most people do, because then you can just iron it down there and wedge it on.
Yeah. So as a fader of the golf ball, you're flirting with that out of bounds, and it's kicking to the right.
For
as
me,
a drawer, you could hook it in.
Yeah, like for me, I fade it really, and I wouldn't try and draw the driver. So I tend to be in the right rough a lot here.
Just accept it, yeah.
and go from there. But like I said earlier, from the forward tee, you can take it a bit tighter to the out of bounds and try and get it up by the green or on the green with your second shot. Can you see those three?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're
those
talking
three
about.
trunks down there. That's a pretty good aim for pretty much everyone, I'd say. That's sort of like right half of the fairway.
Yeah. If the ball ends up in the fairway, it's just a bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say that if people land this on the left side of the left half of the fairway, they've probably pulled it. They'd probably not admit that, but they have.
Oh wow! Drive of the day for me.
So, I just said about the landing left half of the fairway is probably a pull.
You flushed that though, come on.
That was a little pull, but we won't tell anyone.
I love
it's a good strike, but
that's hit the spectators if there were some. Ow!
Clip the tree.
Do you hear that?
Is that the owl from the crowd?
Yeah, because that's gone where they would be standing.
But that's where a lot of guys will hit it.
Yeah.
That is a very popular spot from this tee. So.
And to be fair, they still have a shot because it is so trampled down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Even if you go way right of that, you've still got a shot.
Yeah. So, more often than not with the second shot, if you're going for it into, I mean, you have hit the most perfect drive. It's a difficult fairway to hit. The ball is below your feet when you're trying to work it right to left. Yeah,
so this shows the difficulty of this hole. Even off a really good drive, which this one was, I've still got a long way in and the ball's quite far below my feet, and you can see we're still blocked out by the trees. So you've got to hit a draw and you've got to hit it a long way. So we'll try and pull it off today. I mean, I don't even know. It'll be dependent on how we're doing in the tournament, how this would go and where the pin was, I would say.
Yeah.
This green is a big run off to the right. So if the pin's on the right and you don't draw it enough, so you end up on the right, it's a really tough up and down. Whereas if the pin's at the left, it doesn't really matter if you're still a bit out right. So I'm not sure where the pin is
definitely
today,
a miss that you will see an awful lot throughout the
I think
coverage.
a lot of guys would, from here, would probably maybe take an iron just because it'll be easier to turn it around the corner.
Yeah.
But today we'll give this a go.
Well, we've got the shot tracer on, so if you can get this really turning, that'd be pretty cool.
Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We'll see in a second.
That was a hook.
Too much, I think.
Let's see how much we can get this moving. Yes. I mean, that was ripped, but even that's a bit too far right, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say in between ours would have been perfect. But they're both good. They're both fine, yeah.
I'll take it.
That was a good shot.
So this is where my balls ended up, but we're going to throw this pin high right because there's a huge kind of side slope here, and the rough's typically quite thick, and there's a huge amount of elevation, making it a pretty tough up and down, right?
Yeah, this is a tough one from here. I mean, especially if the pin is this side, you've almost got no chance.
Especially when you're my height, because I can only see
Can't
the
see.
top third.
Yeah. I mean, the
of
pin
the
where it
flag.
is today, if you got a good lie,
That was pretty decent.
yeah, but you can see how if the pin was tucked this side, it would be a really tough shot. It's okay to the back left though.
It's almost, well, this side is actually not as bad compared to going even further up, because it
Yeah.
almost gets steeper, that climb. So
Yeah.
this isn't as bad as it could be, but still, it's not too pretty. Too much.
I think that would be pretty good.
No, but
They're
no,
nice
it's
shots.
another great hole, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I think one thing that I've noticed over the years is how much it slopes from about quarter or a third of the way up the green towards the back.
Front to back.
Yeah,
Catches a lot of players out,
It
actually.
does, and it's unusual. Normally, most of the greens are back to front,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you get one where when the pin's back here, right, and you're putting from short, it's so fast and it can really catch people out.
Yeah. It is the final hole
Final countdown.
of the West Course.
Yeah.
And you don't really
Great
want to be
finishing
a
hole.
drawer of the ball.
No, I don't think so. I think this hole more than any other, having played here a few times and actually knowing the line is really important. And even me, who's played here so many times, even I struggle sometimes to realise how far right you have to go.
Right.
I think what guys will do is tend to try and fade it off those bunkers. But then we know that if you go in those bunkers, you're going to have to lay up and then maybe not even make birdie. So,
Yeah.
so it's a great
taking it on.
great hole, because if you pull off a good drive, like you said, you can make an eagle.
Yeah.
But if you get it slightly wrong, guys lose it too far right as well.
I think
This is a
it's
good
time
hole
to
for
make
me.
an eagle.
This is a good hole for me.
A
Yeah.
proper eagle.
Between us, we can make an eagle, can't we? a Texas scramble eagle between us.
Yeah. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
So I'll try and just aim just off that bunker,
Okay.
and then just hit my little fade around the corner there.
Huh?
So
That's kind of perfect,
that was
isn't
maybe
it?
like a 1 yard fade, where maybe a 5 would have been perfect, but that'll be fine. Yeah.
That threw me because I thought that was a 1 yard draw.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll just call it a straight one.
The safety of the safety. Steve, we're using your ball. Again.
I think the way they've got it now, over the years, they've changed this hole a lot. Where they flattened the fairway out where you hit driver. So
And the
it
fairway
means-
bunkers over the years? Or was it
Yeah.
always like that?
They had another fairway bunker on the right that they took out, which
Right.
would stop you going over the trees almost. And they put loads of earth in and flattened out, so now when you're hitting your second shot, it's off a flat. And that made such a difference, because before it was on such a downslope and
Yeah.
the green was so raised and there's
yeah.
water.
Yeah.
So they've now got such a good balance of stopping guys just playing it as a 3-shotter, which is what was happening when it was a downslope. Guys would just hit 3-iron off the tee and then 9-iron wedge. Whereas now everyone will hit at least a 3-wood with the possibility of hitting a good one and then being able to go for it in 2.
I think it's also worth noting that Wentworth is one of the few golf courses that have a sub-air system.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's immense. The sub-air system. I know not that many clubs have it, and it's an expensive bit of kit, but it's the level of green surface now on this course throughout
Yeah.
the whole year is
It's
just
amazing.
It's like nowhere else I've ever seen.
So if it's super cold and the whole ground's frozen, right?
Yeah.
Is the green just green?
Yeah, I mean,
than
it can be, but they normally
don't wanna
they
bake
normally
it.
shut the course when it's like that.
Okay.
So, but what it does is it's when it's flooded,
Yeah.
the greens are never flooded because they can suck out the moisture.
Got it.
And that's why they can sort of predict how firm they want them to be for
Yeah,
the tournament and stuff
yeah.
like that. But it's just such a great finishing hole now. And what I would say to anyone is, because obviously when I was playing in the tournament, people would sort of ask me questions because they know I'm a member here.
Yeah.
And one of
You
the
must get
things,
bombarded.
yeah, but what they always ask me about this hole, because it's visually, like when you get down here now, we can see how much room there is to the right of the bunkers. Whereas when we're on the tee, it looks like there's about this much room, doesn't
Yeah,
there? And
true.
So I say you just can't go right enough on 18 because
Okay.
there's just so much room there. And you give yourself a great chance of an eagle if you take it on over the corner.
It's a great finishing hole. I mean, once you found that fairway, it's time to take on that green in two. You almost can't help yourself.
No, exactly, and it
You
looks
don't
so
wanna be laying
good with
back.
the stands and the court of hospitality. So
That's
it
amazing.
really just frames the hole so nicely
Yeah,
that it almost picks it out for you, you know.
100%.
And there's
Correct.
nothing better than coming down the last hole, you know, on the Sunday here with it packed. It's a great feeling. Okay, so as you can see here, we're on the left-hand side of the fairway. I hit it a bit straight.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can get it going a bit further right, you get a lot more downslope, and you can get down there and probably take an extra 20, at least 20 yards onto your drive.
Yep.
Which obviously helps with the second
Next
shot
one,
you're
yeah.
hitting into. 211 to the front.
From the front of this bunker, it's 211.
So from there
okay.
it's 211. So we're probably looking at about
215.
Yeah. So about 228 to the hole.
Okay.
215. So you're probably trying to land that. I mean, there's water short, so
Oh yeah.
you wanna make sure that we're past that. So landing maybe 225.
I've got no choice but the 3-wood. 3 iron?
Yeah, 3 iron for me. If I can find
It's
it.
a handy club for you, that, isn't it? I mean,
is,
it's
yeah.
been
The-
used quite a lot around here.
It's this or the 7-wood. Obviously, I've got all the clubs in today, but in a tournament, I would go with this or the 7-wood.
Hmm. And I guess
Yeah,
it's one of those left is dead,
yeah,
and then right is dead too.
yeah, but less dead than
less
the
dead,
water.
yeah.
Obviously, short and left is a no-go, really. So, depending on the pin on Sunday is tucked where that bunker is, far
Yep.
left,
Mm-hmm.
which actually can be quite nice because, you know, if you hit that good drive and we're down there and you've got a 5 or a 6 iron in, you can just turn it a little bit, and this green really slopes into that back left.
Mm-hmm.
So actually this pin, which is on the right, can be a bit trickier because you don't want to go left. So it's likely here we're going to end up near that bunker if we leak it a little
We're
bit.
going by the pin.
Yeah, we're aiming at the pin, but, you know,
Right, hopefully this is the last pured iron shot of the day.
yes. That certainly wasn't pure.
That's a good safety though.
Okay.
That's fine, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a good example of a poor shot, but
If it was the equivalent left, you're dead.
yeah, if I was going to go anywhere on this hole, it's going to be that. I mean, that was a poor strike. It wasn't very good at all, but I've got a chance from there.
The last time I've played this hole, I think I hit 3 balls on my second shot.
Did you? Well, just trying to hit the green.
All 3 just went in the water. So it's
Okay.
time to redeem
This
myself.
is the time then. It's a good strike.
Ooh. Clatter.
Bit
See
right.
that?
No, I didn't see it. It just went through those trees. So if we go in those bunkers off the tee, we obviously have to lay up. And,
Yeah.
and the layup is just right of this bunker here.
Yeah.
And you need to make sure you do that right. It's easy when you're just laying up to lose a bit of concentration, but you don't want to be in the rough. So you've really got to get the strike right and give yourself a good chance with a wedge.
Right. So I guess on the 18th hole, if you found yourself in a little bit of trouble off the tee,
Yeah.
I mean, even the layup shot isn't particularly easy because
No.
it narrows down. You've got water that comes into play. Should you go in between?
Yeah, we'll go in between, yeah.
Lovely sound. Go. Whoa.
No, you're right, it's short.
Okay, so I said 86. So for me, with a 54, I'm going to make it a 3/4 swing. Okay. Remember, winner takes all.
Pressure's on.
I love it. Go. Go. Oh, I tell you what.
Easy peasy.
Is it me?
No,
2 peas in a pod?
no.
I think I'm gonna have to look at that. So that's pretty much it, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below on what you enjoyed the most or what you want to see next. But a massive thank you to yourself, Stephen.
No worries, loved it.
And also Wentworth. What was the highlight of your day today?
I guess
Or shot of the day?
shot of the day, unfortunately, was probably yours on the final closest to the pin, which I lost. So that's kind of annoying. But yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed doing it, and hopefully we see some good golf in the PGA.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Over and out. We'll see you guys in the next video.